So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial video, I would like to show you how to add a PayPal checkout method in your website with the help of React.js. If till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell because I'm going to bring some more beautiful and amazing content this week. So without wasting the time, let's start the video. So let me just switch to my screen over here. Great. So as you can see, I am on the npm.js official website. So we are just going to be using the two packages over here in our React project. One is going to be the React router DOM and second one is going to be the PayPal.js package. So let me just come to the React PayPal checkout. Or I can just check for React PayPal.js. When I just do that, it should display me the package name. If it is not, just press enter. And it should display you all of the packages related to your input. And we can see at the first we are having the PayPal / React PayPal JS package. This is the package that we will be using in this entire tutorial video to add the PayPal payment method. So even we are having the paypal.com website in which we are going to be getting the documentation on how to create a PayPal checkout method in your website with React or any other languages. But we are not going to be preferring the PayPal documentation. Why? I will explain you in a second. So let me just convert it into an English language and come back to our npmjs.com website. So here's the first package that we are going to be using. So just scroll down and you're going to get all informations related to the PayPal's documentation, what's the problem in the PayPal's documentation, and why we need to use this React PayPal.js package. What are the features of it that the package is going to provide us, but not the PayPal developers. So I'll just read all of the information so you can just go through it. So why we need to use the React PayPal.js? The problem: developers integrating with PayPal are expected to add the JavaScript SDK script to a website and then render the components like the PayPal buttons after this script loads. The architecture works great for simple websites but can be challenging when building the single page apps. React developer thinks in terms of components and not about loading the external scripts from an index.html file. It's easy to end up with React PayPal integration that's suboptimal and hurts the buyer user experience. For example, abstracting away all the implementation details of the PayPal buttons into a single React component is an anti-pattern because it tightly couples script loading with rendering. It's also problematic when you need to render multiple different PayPal components that share the same global script parameters. So what's the solution and why we will be using this React PayPal.js? You can see over here the React PayPal.js provides a solution to developers to abstract away the complexities around loading the JavaScript SDK. It enforces best practices by default, so buyers get the best possible user experience. And what are the features that we are going to be having in this package? You can just see over here, enforce async loading the JavaScript SDK upfront, so when it's time to render the buttons to your buyer, they render immediately. That's really an amazing feature of this React PayPal.js package. Abstract away the complexity around loading the JavaScript SDK with the global PayPal script provider component. What is this PayPal script provider? We'll get to it in a minute. And the third feature is supporting dispatching actions to reload the JavaScript SDK and re-render components when global parameters like currency change. And fourth but not the least feature easy to use components for all the different Braintree PayPal product offerings. We are going to be having the PayPal buttons, marks, messages, hosted fields, and Braintree PayPal buttons. They are really awesome. So these are some new features that is there inside this package, but there are some more that is not yet provided over here. And if you would like to install the package in your React project, you need to run this command in your terminal. That is going to be npm install @PayPal react-PayPal-js. Alright, so now we have read and go through this React PayPal JS package documentation. So let's start working with our app. So what I'm going to do, first of all, here's my React app running with a blank page. I'm just gonna minimize it and show you my folder structure. So as you can see, here's my Visual Studio Code editor, and this is the folder structure over here. I'll just get through it. We are having a source folder in which we are having some new files also. So one is our app.js, that is simple, that files will be provided to you. Alright, so first of all, we are just gonna start with this app.js, and we are having this images folder in which I'm having just a product image, because we are just going to be adding the payment method related to a e-commerce app. So that will be really easy for you all guys to understand it. Alright, so let's start working with it. So let's come to our npm.js official website over here, and this is going to be our first package. You can just install it at the start of your project. Great. And if you need more documentation, if you need the developers documentation from official PayPal, you can just come to the paypal.com official website. The link will be provided in the description below. And for this npm.js website also, the link will be provided in the description below. Don't worry about it at all. So let's search for our second package, that is going to be React Router DOM, that we are going to be using. So just search for the package, and we can see at the first we are having the same package name that we have entered in our input. Cool. So what you need to do over here is that you need to run this command, that is npm install React Router DOM in your root directory of your React project. So I have already installed it, so I'm not going to do it again and again. Great. Otherwise the video is going to be more lengthy. Cool. So let me just open my React app over here and minimize my Google Chrome, and I'm just gonna make my font of my VS Code editor larger, so it will be really easy for you all guys to read the code. Alright, so this is going to be our app.js. So first thing that we're going to do over here is that import our roots. So import browser router as router, and we're just going to import roots and route to define our routes. Great. And this all will be imported from React Router DOM package that we have installed. Great. That's it. So now what I'm going to do over here is that inside my div, we are just going to call our router. Inside that router, we are going to be having our routes tag that we have imported, and for defining our routes, we are going to be using this root. Alright, so let me just use it over here, and now I'm just going to provide it a path over here that is going to be /, that means the default page that will be loaded first when the user comes to the website. And after that, we are going to be having an element in which we are just gonna be adding the components that we would like to display in our home page. So we are going to be using the React fragments over here to add and display multiple components, but now we are just going to be having a single components, but it's really a good practice to use the React fragment. So let me just call my checkout component over here for simplicity. Great. And now we are going to be importing our checkout.js file. So I have created a new folder over here named as components, in which I'm having this checkout.js file. Alright, in this checkout.js file, you can even create it, because I have already created it. You can create a new folder and create this checkout.js file and write rfce for importing the React command. That's it. And now we're just going to be importing our checkout component in our app.js file. Great. Now if I just come to my project over here and reload my React app, it's displaying me a checkout that I have written in my checkout.js file in a checkout div. Great, as you can see it over here. So after doing that, we would like to import a paper script provider that I have shown you, and we have read the documentation in our npm.js website. Okay, so let's import it. So paper script provider, that will be imported from paper react-paper.js package that we have installed in our React project. So now what is this paper script provider? I will explain you in detail. It is a context provider. This paper script provider component manages loading the JavaScript SDK script, add it to the root of your React app. It uses the context API for managing the state and communicating to child components. It also supports reloading the script when parameters changes. Alright, so now we need to define it in our root of our React app, and our app.js is our root of our app. So for defining it, we need to come before this div, and after our return, let's call our paper script provider tag. Simple. In this tag, we are going to be having this div. We are just going to cover that div in between this paper script provider. Let me just align it in center because my prettier extension is not yet working out. No worries about it at all. Sometimes that happens a lot. So now what you need to do in this paper script provider, you need to add some arguments, and that is going to be our client ID. So now inside this paper script provider, we are going to be having an options. So a small notice. If you're watching this video, of course you need to learn how to add the paper checkout method in your website. And to learn it more nicely, please focus on the video. Don't skip even a single part. If you're gonna skip a single part, you are not gonna be understanding the process of adding the paper checkout method in your website. Just go through the full video. I will explain you every single thing in detail and in depth too. Alright, so let's start. So we are having these options. Alright, in these options we are just going to be adding a client ID. So before doing that, we are just going to create our PayPal account. So let's come to our Google Chrome, and as you can see, I am in my paypal.com website. Create your account if you have not yet created, and if you have created, just sign into your account. Great. So now I'm going to sign into my PayPal account, and from there we're just going to be having our client ID that we will be using all out this process to make our payment functionality work. Great. So alright, so now we are over here in the paypals.com dashboard page. So now what we need to do over here is that we need to select this developer menu over from here, navbar. Great. Just come to the developer menu, and from there come to your profile image and click on my account. And after coming to my account, what you need to do is you need to come to this accounts over here that you have created, and your account will be created by default from these PayPal developers. So as you can see, I'm having my accounts over here. No need to come to this accounts tab. Sorry, my apologize. You need to come to this my apps and credentials. A default app will also be created. If you want to create a new one, you can create it by clicking on create app. So I have already created it because when I was just testing my video, I created this app. So let's click on my created app over here. You can even create it, and when you just go through it, you're just gonna get a client ID. Am I correct? Yes. So select it and right click and copy your client ID. That's the most important thing that will help us to add the payment method in our website. So let's come to our VS Code editor. Now, in your source root directory, inside your source folder, not in another directory, inside your source directory, create a new file named as .env. Create this .env file, alright? And after creating the .env file, you need to add your client ID over here so we can access it easily wherever we would like to without copying and pasting it again and again. So now what I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to pass it a variable that we will be calling, that is going to be like React app PayPal client ID. It totally depends on you. It doesn't mean if I'm writing the React app PayPal client ID, you need to write same. You can even write React app PayPal client, anything like EC2 code, del code. It's totally your wish. That equals to, and now you need to paste your client ID. That's it for this .env file. This file will be used to generate your client ID. Great. So now let's come back to our app.js file. So here only we are just going to be using our client IDs, so all of our files that is there inside this element can access our client ID. So inside this options, we're just going to be having a key named as client-id. Then we are going to be having a column, then we're just going to process it from our .env file, and what was the name that we will be using for calling our client ID, that is over here. So what you can do over here is that you can just copy the name, come back to your app.js file and paste it over here. That's it. Now you can access your client ID from .env file in your root app.js file. Great. So that's it for app.js. What we have done over here, it's totally simple. I will explain you one more time. So this is a simple route. Alright, so I'm not gonna explain you again. So we are importing a PayPal script provider from the PayPal package that we have installed from the npm official website, and inside that provider we are using the options in which we are having the double curly braces. We are providing it a client ID key, and we are processing through our env file and the variable name in which we have stored our client ID. So that's that simple. Alright, great. So now our work with our app.js file is totally finished. Now we can start working with our front end, that is going to be our checkout.js file. So over here, as you can see in my checkout.js file that I am displaying in my front end. So for an example, if I just change this checkout to hi there, it should display me hi there in my browser screen. When I just come over here to my React app, as you can see, it's displaying me hi there. So now let's start working and styling our beautiful application. So in this checkout.js, what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to import my CSS file that I have already created over here, which you can see inside this components folder. This is the CSS file. And a small notice, if you need a source code, in so many of my videos the source code was not provided, my apologize, but whoever have commented in the video that they need the source code or it's not available, I have sent them a drive link. You can just go in search and comments, alright? And even I have updated it in the description below. So now from now onwards, all of the source code will be provided in my GitHub repository, and the link will be provided in the description below. Go download and you're free to use it. Alright, so this is the CSS file that is already styled it, because if I will style it in the tutorial video, it's gonna take more of our time. And if the video will be lengthy, no one will like to watch it more. Alright, so I'm just gonna close this CSS file, and now let me just import it over here. Alright, so my style.css file is imported, and we are going to be using the product image that is there in this images directory, as you can see over here, named as product.jpg. So let me import it over here. Great. So now I have imported my product image. So now let's work with our design. So inside this return we are having a div. I'm just gonna remove that and create it from scratch. Div with the class name of checkout. And in that, first we would like to display the h1 tag with the heading of paper checkout. And after that we are going to be having some information, some title and description related to our app. So we are going to provide it a class name that is going to be the checkout title. In this checkout title, the title is going to be design and code React PayPal checkout procedure. Great. After that paragraph, we're going to be having one more paragraph which is going to be for our checkout description. And that is going to be learn how to build a website with React.js. And after that, we are going to be having a h1 tag that is going to display the price of our product, which is going to be having a class name of checkout price. And it's going to be $29. Cool. After that h1 tag, we would like to display our product image. So our image is going to be having a class name that is going to be product hyphen image. Great. And the source is going to be product image that we have imported, as you can see over here in third line. Great. And after that, we are going to be having the alt text that is going to be named as product image. That's simple and it's totally optional. After that, we are going to be having a div which is going to be having a class name of separator that is used for designing a underline after every single section. Great. Separator. Cool. It's going to be the empty div, but it's going to be having a class name. Alright guys, so after our separator div, we are going to be having a div which is going to be having a class name of PayPal, in which we would like to display our PayPal button. Great. So PayPal. Cool. In this PayPal div, we are going to be having a first paragraph which is going to be having a class name of checkout title. That's just for styling class names. Alright. And that's going to display as pay with PayPal as an option. And after that only we would like to display our PayPal button. So for that I'm just going to create a div, but we would not like to display the PayPal button yet now. So let me just create a div which is going to be having a class name of PayPal hyphen button container. In this div only I would like to display my PayPal checkout button, but not now. So now let's save it and let's come to our React app, and boom, as you can see over here, we are having our heading, we are having our product price, and this is our gaming laptop that is really in a cheap price of $29. You can just create and buy it. Alright. That's just a joke. Alright, so great. And after that we are having this as a separator div. If you can see over here, we are having a small underline below this image. That is our separator div, which is having a styling of border 1 pixel solid gray. And after that we are having a PayPal's button paragraph information to pay with PayPal. And after that only we would like to display our buttons. Great. So now what we are going to do over here is that we are going to be using after our checkout and before our return, create a variable named as product that equals to an object. So now why we are creating this product variable, I will explain you after some times. In this variable we are going to be having our description and a price related to our product that will be sent to our PayPal checkout, and that when the payment is successfully processed, the details will be displayed in our checkout dashboard. So Here's the product variable, which is an object in which we are going to be having a key of description, and it is going to be like learn how to build a website with React.js. And after that, we are going to define the price that was $29. Great. And now let me end it with a semicolon. It's simple. Alright, so now let's start working with our button. But before working with our button, let's finish the part for our checkout.js file. So if I'll just go back to the people checkout button.js file, come back to the checkout.js file, go back, come back, it is going to be really confusing for you all guys. So we will finish first our checkout.js file and then we will start working with it. Okay, so I will explain you what is this product variable and why we have created in detail. Okay, so product variable, so this is going to be our product variable in which we are going to be having an object with some keys and its values. One is going to be the description key, as you can see over here, and the second one is going to be the price that will be used to display the details in the order list and that the user have purchased. Got it? That simple. So now let me add my checkout button import statement over here. So I will be importing my PayPal checkout button that will be imported from my components file in which I'm having this PayPal checkout button.js file already created. So what you need to do is you need to come inside this components and create this PayPal checkout button.js file. Alright, and after you have imported it, what you need to do is wherever you would like to display your PayPal button, just call it over there. So I would like to display in this PayPal button container. So now let me just call my PayPal checkout button over here. So I'm just going to copy that and call it over here. It's that simple. Now you will be getting to display your PayPal buttons, but not now because our PayPal checkout button.js file is empty. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to pass it some parameters. So what we are going to do over here is that we're just going to call our product that equals to a product function. So now what we are doing over here, we are passing our product variable details to our PayPal checkout button.js file so we can access it over there and display that the product that the user have bought the product with their title, description and price, whatever you would like to display, as we are going to display the description and price only. Great, it's that simple. So now our work with our checkout.js file is finished. Let's start working with our PayPal checkout button.js file in which we are going to create our buttons. So just come to your PayPal checkout button.js file that you have created and write RFCE to get your basic React component. Up here we are going to be having some of these import statements. So I'm just going to import PayPal script provider and PayPal buttons that will be imported from the package that we have installed, that is PayPal React-PayPal-JS. So this is the first import PayPal buttons from React PayPal.js and return it wherever you would like to do. After that you will see the PayPal buttons in the website. It's awesome to finally see it on the screen. You can even style our PayPal buttons as you need. It totally depends on your website design for styling it. Only you need is that add style tag where you have called your buttons. I will explain you in a second. So now I have imported my PayPal script provider and PayPal buttons over here. Okay, so now wherever I would like to display, so of course in this return, so what I will do over here is that I will first of all call my PayPal script provider tag. In this tag I will call my PayPal buttons, and when I just do that, it should display my buttons in my front end. So let me just come to my React app, scroll down, and boom, as you can see we are having our beautiful PayPal button. Well, let me just reload it once again, and as you can see it is over here, and that looks really cool. Is it? Yeah. So what's happening? How we can see the PayPal checkout button in our front end, because the checkout is being imported in our app.js front end, and in that I'm just calling my PayPal checkout button component, and that is why it is displaying in front end. Great. Of course, it's really a basic info that everyone you should know if you're there in this tutorial video. Great. So now let's start by creating our order. So we are having these PayPal buttons. Now first of all, we are just gonna start by creating our orders. Let's start with create order. It's a function that gets called after the user clicks on the button to make one-time payment and launches the checkout screen. It's going to take data and action as the parameters. So when you're calling your PayPal buttons, what you need to do over here, you need to call your create order function over here. Create order that equals to a curly braces, and it's going to take two parameters. One is going to be the data and the second one is going to be the actions. Great. So the actions is used to create an order with the transaction details. So now what we're going to do over here is that we're going to return our actions.order.create, because we are going to create our order, and our action is used to create an order with the transaction details. So our order will be created when we enter our transaction details that we're going to be entering over here, that is being coming from our product variable that was there inside our checkout.js. Great. So we are going to be having a purchase units key over here, which is going to be having an array of an object. In that we're going to be having a description key that's going to take product dot description, and then our price. So we're going to be having an amount which is going to be having an object, and we're going to be having a value as a key, and it's going to be product dot price. Awesome. Let me just add a commas over here. Cool. So return actions dot order.create. I will explain you in detail. So what is this actions.order.create? Inside it, we need to pass the purchase units, which is an array, but in the case we will input on object with the description of the product.description and the amount with a value of product.price. So note, if you wish to charge the customer in a different currency, then define it in the initial options. You may add it in the amount object it as at this step that the buyer approves the transaction. So I'm not going to show you it in this video. If you need a video on how to add different currencies in your PayPal checkout method, comment down below. I will create a separate small video on it. Great. After that, we are going to be having our on approve. So what is this on approve? After our transaction is authorized by the buyer, the on approve event is called. So let me create our on approve function over here. Similarly, the arguments are also data and actions over here. Cool. At this moment, we need to capture the order. It is important to note that without capturing, no money will be deducted from the buyer's account, and you would be doing all of this for nothing at all. Capture is a promise function that returns the order. Therefore, we will use with async and await. So over here, we are just going to be using the async and await because it's a capture function over here. So let's use our async, but not outside of our curly braces, but inside of our curly braces. Great. And after that, we are just gonna call a handle approve. But before doing that, let's create a variable of an order. And in that, we're going to be using the await keyword and actions dot order dot capture the order that the user have purchased. So it's not going to be an action, it's going to be action. It totally depends on you. If you need actions, you can go with actions, but I will be using action over here in this on approve method. And then you're just going to console.log the order that the user have purchased. So it will be really good for us to see whatever product the user purchased. Then we can call the handle approve function to personalize the user experience after checking out successfully and passing it in the order ID from data.order_id. Then let's create it. So we are going to be using the handle approve function over here. Handle approve, and it's going to take data.order_id. So now let's create this function at the top. So before this return, we are just going to create this handle approve function. So over here, let me create this handle approve function over here, which is going to take an order ID. Great. And when this handle approve function is called, we are just going to set our paid for to true. That means the user have paid the payment successfully, and for that we are going to be having even a state value. So let's come to our React and let's import use state. And one small notice over here that we are using over here the product.description, product.price. To get that data, we need to just add props in it. So after this function, let me create a props over here for our product variable that was created in our checkout.js. And now we can access it easily. And we're going to be having two state values. One is going to be for this paid for, and one is even going to be for our error. So let me create it over here. And the default value is going to be false because the payment is not yet, means the user have not yet purchased the project. But when the user purchases the project, when it is approved, we are just going to set this paid for to true. Great. And the second state value is going to be for error. And that is going to be null because at the start we are not going to be having any error displayed over here. So now we are going to be using the if else statements over here and say if my paid for state variable is true, I'm just gonna show an alert that is going to say that thank you for purchasing from easy to code. Great. That means our purchase is successful. Alright, cool. So now we are all done with our on approve, and now we are going to be having on cancel function. That means if the user cancels the purchase, what we need to do is, of course, we need to cancel the purchase and redirect the user back to the home page or the checkout page. So let me create it over here, on cancel, and that is going to be totally empty. So the user will be automatically redirected to the checkout page. Last but not least, I do like to add the on click prop button, but before adding that, I would be having an on error button. So if we get some error while purchasing the product, we would like to display an alert. So let me add an on error function over here too. That is going to take an error as a parameter, and in this we are just gonna set our error to the error that we got, and console.log that specific error with a string of PayPal checkout on error. and after that I would like to display that error message. Great. And when it's done, when our set error is to error, that means now it is not null, it is true, I would like to add a if else statement over here. If my set, oh sorry, not if my set error, if my error is true, I would like to display that specific error that was passed, great, as an alert. Cool, we are all set, but last but not least, I do like to add the on-click prop onto the button. On-click provides an item step for validation before proceeding to checkout. Let's say if you're offering a subscription, you could check whether your user is subscribed beforehand, or you could prevent them from repurchasing the same product. At this point, we want to fail the checkout, so we want to return the actions.reject method. But however, if the user haven't bought the course, we can allow them to proceed with the checkout with returns actions.resolve method, which proceeds to the next step, create order. So let's go and work with it. So what I'm going to do over here, before this create order function, I will be having the on click, and it is going to take two parameters in it. One is going to be data and actions, same. Alright, and in this I'm going to be having a variable as already bought. I'm just gonna call it as course. So false, that means by default the user have not yet purchased the course. But if it is true, if has already bought course is true, I would like to set my error to you already bought this course. Great. Let me end it with a semicolon, and after that I would like to return actions.reject. What I will do after, if the user have already bought this course, if it is true, I would like to reject my payment transaction, and the user will be redirected back to the checkout page. So for that we are going to be using this reject method. It's really simple. One is for rejecting, so we are going to be having the reject method. If we need to resolve it, we are going to be having the resolve method. Just note it in a notebook or a notepad and revise it again and again, you will learn it easily. So after that we're going to be having else. If the user have not yet purchased the product or bought the course, we would like to resolve and go on purchasing the product details. That means go on creating the order function at the bottom of this on click function. So for that I will return an actions.resolve method. Great. It's totally simple. How was it? Was it good? It was really awesome. If you're having any doubts related on how to add PayPal checkout method in your website or any coding related issues, just comment down below. I will reply you within one day. Alright, because sometimes I will not like to see some, maybe I'm not using YouTube, I will not see the notifications, but maybe another day I would like to. I will see the notification there, of course I will reply you. Great. So let's test our PayPal checkout method, whether it works or not. Alright, so for doing that, just come to your Google Chrome, and we are getting an error over here that is saying that the props is not defined in our line number 5 in our PayPal checkout button.js. My apologize. So for accepting the props, we are going to be having a component, not a function. So what I will be doing over here, no worry about it at all, I'm just going to remove this function and create it as a component, which is going to take a props as a parameter in it, and that will fix the issue. Let me just check it once again. Boom, the issue is fixed. So now let's test whether our functionality works or not. But before doing that, we will come to our paypal.js website over here, reload it once again to see whether we are logged in or not. As you can see, we are not logged in because it took maybe half an hour, and the PayPal security have logged out us. Great, so let's log in back to the dashboard. Let me click over here. Let me log in back by entering my details. And it is saying that we could not confirm that it's me, so I'll just come back to the website and do this again by clicking on login and entering the details over here. Great, we are in our PayPal's dashboard. Cool. Let me just adjust my chair. My back started paining sitting for 1 hour continuously. Alright, till the time this website is loading, I would like to open another website that we'll be using for checking our payment details. That is going to be the sandbox.paypal.com. The links that I will be using in this video will be provided in the description below. So let me use sandbox.paypal.com website over here. Great. So now what you need to do over here is that come to your PayPal dashboard, click on this developer account over here. After that, just click over here to your account, and after coming to my account, what you need to do over here is that click on this accounts at the bottom of the sandbox, and after selecting your accounts, what you need to do over here is that you're going to be having totally 2 accounts that will be created by default from the PayPal developers. One is going to be the business account and one is going to be the personal account. So for this work, we are going to be using the business account. So what you need to do over here is that click on this view/edit account. After you click over here, you're just going to be getting the email and password displayed over here that we will be using for signing in into our sandbox.paypal website. So let's click on login, and what you need to do over here is that paste the email that you have copied and paste the password. Just copy it from here and paste it over here. So a small reminder is that don't copy the same email and password. If I will show over here, don't copy the same email and password, because after the tutorial video is created, it will be totally and permanently removed from my Gmail account. Let me just click on login and log into my sandbox.paypal.com as a developer account. When I just do that, as you can see, my available balance is total $4,731 USD. Am I correct? Yes. So now let's test whether our React app works or not. So let it load completely. So after that, we are not going to get any issues, because if it is there under loading and if you're running the payment transaction, it can cause a big fat issues sometimes. Alright, so let it load. Okay guys, it's taking much time. So before, my available balance was total 5,000 USD, but I have tested my project maybe by 1 or 2 times. So now the available balance is 4,731 USD. So okay, so now it's loaded. We can test it over here. Great. We are having this beautiful PayPal button and debit or credit card. Am I correct? Yes. Alright, a small reminder I forget to show you is that if you would like to style your own PayPal button, what you need to do, as I said you, I will show you in a second, but I have not showed you yet. So for doing that, what you need to do over here is that inside your PayPal buttons, you need to just add a style tag and double curly braces, and you can write your styling code as you would like to inside this curly braces. That's it, but I'm just gonna keep it simple. Great. So let me come back and let me check this process, and for checking this process, I will be right clicking and opening my inspector. So it will be really easy to see what is the error that we're going to get and what will be the working form, that means our order that the user have purchased. Great. So let's test it out over here. Let me just click on this PayPal button. It opens a pop-up box. Great. Totally cool. And it should display all of the details, price of our product. That was $29. Alright, it should display it over here. And As you can see, it's displaying me 29 USD dollars over here, the total product of this laptop, price of this laptop. All right, so I'm just gonna make this as my preferred shipping address and just pay it now from my PayPal balance, because it's preferred, because we are in our test mode. If you want to do it with your debit card, you can just select, enter your numbers and do it with your debit card. Just click on this pay now and it's gonna process it. Let it process. And as you can see, our order is created over here. We are having the console.log and we are having a beautiful alert also over here. Let me just take it to my secondary monitor, and as you can see, we are having an alert that is saying thank you for purchasing from easy to code. Thank you a lot. So still it's processing because of slower internet connection, but if your internet connection will be faster, it will directly disappear, because now it's just sending all of the product details to the PayPal's dashboard. Great. So how we got this console and alert? It's because this was the alert if our paid for is true that we're getting, because our purchasing is successfully done. And from where we are getting that console? So for that we are getting from our checkout. No, we are just getting it from our PayPal checkout button.js over here only, which you can see over here. Yeah, on approve, that means when the order is created, on approve of our order, we are consoling our order with the order string over here that we can see is being displayed over here as a string and the order details. So as you can see, the pop-up is disappeared and our product is purchased. When I just click on OK, we are all set. Now we have purchased our gaming laptop and with a free game of Battlefield 2042 in $29. Alright, so let me check my account. If I just come to my Sandbox account, total price was 4,731 before. Let me refresh the page and you can see how much balance will be available in my credit card. 1, 2, 3 and boom. Let me do it, boom. But the internet connection is slow. Let it load. It's gonna take time. And as you can see, only 4,702 USD dollars is available now. So this is how the PayPal functionality works in an easy way. Okay, so if you need to get the details and see the details who have purchased, the shipping address and all, what you need to do is over here you need to click on this activity and click on this all transactions that you have processed. Just click over here and you can see all the activity that have happened in your React app. Okay, so at 4:45 a.m. this was purchased. Okay, and the price that is being charged from a banker was $29. If I need to check the details of it, I can maybe just click over here on the Sandbox tester. It should just open a transaction details page, as you can see over here in the title of the page, and boom, you can even print it out. The PayPal provides all of the functionalities. You can see all of the transaction details, the timing when it was accepted, the status that it is completed, the payment is successfully completed and it was a checkout payment type, the shipping address you can see over here, and it is confirmed. It is totally confirmed. You can see your subtotal, your price, your purchase total, etc. over here with the quantity, and we are having the order details too displaying over here. So that's really awesome. So this is how we add our PayPal checkout method in our website with the help of React.js and PayPal package. So maybe you have understood how to do that if you have watched the video fully from scratch. So if till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.